This conference will now be recorded.
There you go. Yeah. Check 1, 2. Good evening. Almost there. So that was one thing that was on the agenda that we saw. Yeah, sure. You were at the City of Port Orford Parks Commission meeting on this July 6th, 2023 at 6 p.m. And with that, we're going to call this 6 p.m. meeting to order. By way of roll call, we have Commissioner Kelly Bechtel present and in person, Collector Sirik present and in person, Commissioner Ciaran Fraser present in person, and Greg Tidy and myself, Chair Brian Thompson. And do we have anybody? No commissioners online. Okay. We had a couple of different agendas floating around, so we'll make sure that the visitor center. It was on the one that I saw this morning, but let's do that as 7. Let's do that as a 7A.
7A.
Yeah. Okay. 7A. And then we have, right, and then I know that actually the A-frame was on there as well. So. Yeah, you're more than welcome. Sure. Okay. And this one doesn't have, but the other one this morning had the Pledge of Allegiance after the roll call. We'll do that right after this. Before additions to the agenda, 1, 2. So with that, we'll do a Pledge of Allegiance. Please join us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now, item 2, additional additions to the agenda. Do we have anything?
I have one.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
So I would like to add under new business, I've handed out some things at your places, and it involves perhaps expanding the role of the Parks Commission to include consideration of applications for TLT fund grants. And then we'll just, that's the request I have to add to the agenda.
So that'll be 9B, expanded role of Parks Commission.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. And those are the support materials.
And commissioners, anything else that needs to be added? Okay, so again, we're doing 9A as the visitor center.
After the meeting, can we all get with Joseph and just make sure all of our personal information, name, spelling, and email addresses are correct to him, so we can make sure we're all on the same page?
After the meeting?
Yeah.
Perfect. Let's meet with him.
Okay, sounds great. Okay, with that, then we're going to roll right into item 3, citizens' concerns. So, Ciaran or any others that would like to come up, you have 3 minutes.
You know how many times people are like, oh, you like, no, it's different. Maybe that's where people confuse fear. Yeah. Well, I don't have any concerns. My main motivation here today is to just share my gratitude for the opportunity you guys have given us to run our program out of the A-frame. We're thriving. The kids love the space. We're having much more of a community connection with people who are at the park. And so we're just having more of an impact on the community, and it's wonderful. So that's my main motivation. I also want to congratulate you guys on getting the budget approved for the playground, and to thank you for your ardency and your hard work on getting that done. So I commend you all on that. I just wanted to get some seeds planted on the paper I handed out, and I will be back and I will be on the agenda for discussion Before the budget was approved for the playground, I had just been brainstorming with families of small things we could do to improve the park that didn't include a huge budget, and anything that we can do to help the park be a safer spot. So I will be back on the agenda next month for any discussion. Just want to get those seeds planted. Thank you guys for your work.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you again.
And thanks for working with the Jubilee so well for the 4th. And I know for the pickleball thing, it was seamless. And
it was seamless with me too. It was
seamless
really cool.
with you. So
my stuff's still there.
Great use
I'll get my change on for your kid.
Great use of that facility. So thank you.
I thought about that this morning.
Any other additional citizen concerns?
I just have to echo the kudos that you got. Yesterday, I was coming out of the city hall and turned in my PLT taxes, and across the street from the RV park there, where it was a family with young kids, and the boy, I would say he was 7, 8, he said, I love this place. It is so cool, and it's not just the temperature. That Buffington Park is awesome. I love going there. So good job, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Now's your time. Okay. Well, with that, we're going to move right along. And Buffington Park host is not present. However,
can I make a motion to ask to look into maybe a new park host? Okay, we'll talk to John about that.
Yeah, let's do that.
I'm having many problems with residents complaining about the park host.
Okay.
And I asked him. He came up to me and asked me why there was 30 dogs in the park the other day in the playground or in the ball field. I let him know that we had approved said dog training. He's like, well, nobody told me. And I let him know that if he would have come to the meeting, he would have known that's what we approved. And he goes, why would I ever come to those? I don't do those. So he pretty much doesn't want to come to any of this and do his job.
Okay. Which wasn't that a description that was included in?
I just had a lot of problems, John, and a lot of residents. So we'll have, as a consensus, I'd like to have John just look into that.
Okay. My experience with him has been pretty positive, but I agree.
You're not a child, sir.
Okay.
You're not a child.
Thank you. I get it. And I appreciate that comment as well on a personal level. But what I want to, maybe I just proved it wrong. I don't know. But what I would like to say is he is a zealous protector of our park facility, from what I could tell, and I think is interested in the dog. But it's city administrator job to go be the in-between with our employees and volunteers. And I'll go over his job description with him and see if we can't do that. But also I think we could probably do, communications 2 ways.
Right.
Okay. So
for a year and a half.
But
a year and a half, I've asked him almost monthly to come to these meetings.
Okay.
It says that on his.
I think we're gonna point the board. We're talking about this once too much. So we'll put it on the agenda for later and finish up.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Copy. Moving on, consent calendar, approved minutes of June 1st regular meeting.
The minutes, I think, are good. Joseph, thank you. I make a motion to approve June 1st meeting minutes.
Did we actually discuss so we have a motion. As far as the $163,000, didn't we discuss that? I'm not seeing that as a thing here, but that's the only thing that comes to mind.
Not in detail, Brian, but budget list is 8 Bravo, and playground is our first item there.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know that the dollar amount is critical. It's been approved by city council.
Yep. I'll second the motion to approve the minutes.
By consensus? Or do you
Now
want to?
I made first, you made a second, now call for the vote, right?
Yeah, okay, well, any further discussion, commissioners?
No, these look good.
Okay, Tidy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Fraser?
Yes.
Bechtel?
Yes.
Kaser?
Yes.
And myself, Thompson, yes. Good. Financial report. I saw that on the page that was the document that he had sent, but
It's on the back.
thank you.
Thanks for that. Well, this is the stuff that we ordered. This wasn't the financial report.
So we don't have one.
This is the,
Okay,
this is 7C.
I don't, yeah.
so we're gonna have to table.
Financial.
Yeah, financial report is
From
tabled.
staff, can I ask a question? I'm assuming the financial report comes from staff. What is
Yeah.
the Parks Commission looking for at a meeting as far as the financial report goes?
Pretty much expenditures from the previous month or,
Okay.
year to date, makes sense.
Good, thank you.
That'd be nice
All
for
right.
us to have.
Okay, I can briefly give a little bit of a financial report as far as what some of our expenditures have been. We did get in the box container for the field supplies, so that was an
So that's
expense.
your deal.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
got in the bollards, which are little crowd control devices for the skating, and we got
Oh.
in the foam pads.
Okay.
And so those are some of the expenses we had. I don't know that we've had a bunch more expenses other than, probably an electric bill and a phone bill. And then I don't know how much this morphs into phone and internet at the visitor center or not. But,
Oh, yeah.
okay,
We'll
good.
cover that.
All right, thanks. So that's really the bottom line on the expense report, not a lot, but I'll be better prepared next time. I
Thanks, John.
wasn't really sure what we needed.
Do you know if that Dropbox has arrived yet? Or
It's
is it-
over there for
Yeah.
Yeah,
3 weeks.
Great. Maybe
we can pick it up
install that over in the ball field for the kids.
and buy a chain so that
Yeah.
it stays there.
We'll get it.
Hopefully. Okay, but yeah, we can do that. And then remind me to mention the barbecue thing, because those are in as well. We just have to know
That's-
where we want to put them.
That's status 7C.
Good.
Perfect. All right. Then, that brings us to commissioner reports. So, who wants to lead the little charge on that?
Start over there.
I have been out with you guys, so I'm gonna pass on mine.
Okay, sir.
All right, I wanted to say thanks to the community at large for the cleanup help at Buffington prior to the Jubilee. I think Jubilee made really good use of the space both Saturday and Sunday. It's great to see so many people at the park. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Commissioner Frazier.
I don't have a lot to report this time. Also, Kelly's really so I'm really excited to see and I hope you stay on board. I'm kind of just getting back into it myself. I did have a question for you, John.
Okay.
About the T-shirts that you were getting me.
Yeah.
For a possible fundraising idea.
Yeah, so just to bring you guys up to speed on what Commissioner Frazier and I are talking about is at the last meeting, you mentioned fundraisers, and I showed there's this really, I'll call it a cute postcard, but it's like an old school 1920s bathing beauty on the beach under an umbrella. It's really cute. So I've taken that down to a guy named Brian at the dive to transfer onto some various articles of clothing, mostly t-shirts and sweatshirts. And he called me today and said half of them are done. And if I wanted to come down and pick up half and then he'd do half later, I said, I'd like to just do them all at one time. And so we're almost there. I was really excited because I would have had them for you all tonight to take a look at. But he showed me the mock-up and they're going to be really nice. So they're basically a picture on the front, and on the back it says, I support Port Orford Parks.
And
so,
it's a Porter for car
Yeah,
from
it's Porter.
like
Yeah,
long time ago.
yeah.
And it actually has a Porter thing. So
Yeah.
it's kind of cool.
I think you guys are going to raise some funds with this. So what my plan to do was to hand out some of these to you guys to go like selling chocolate candy bars after school or whatever, Girl Scout cookies. So, but also Ciara said she might be able to, if you think your place would be a good spot to storefront those, I think that's a win, that's a good, whatever you call it, synergy or something.
Yes,
So,
no, I would
okay.
love 100% to, post one on the window, post one
Sure.
in the cafe.
Yeah, okay.
Advertise, I can take all funds.
Yeah, no, that would be good. So, yeah, no, so those, again, I was happy, and then Brian's like, oh, I didn't get the one, so, okay, I just want to get them all.
Oh yeah, you really
No,
like
it'd
the
be good.
fun one, huh?
What?
You like the fun one.
Oh, yeah, sorry, it's actually called Dusk, I believe. So,
Well, cool.
Yeah.
Do we have a particular, it's just gonna be for parks in general, or do we have something that, like,
It's a parks fundraiser. I'm not sure what your question is, Mr. Chair.
in terms of a particular part of parks that we want to see it
Oh.
necessarily go toward?
Oh.
So far, it's all been energy toward the playground, but since now we're,
Well, but we still need some, we would like some more funds for the playground too. We can always make it cooler.
Yeah,
that's true.
it's
There's always a lot
So
of
we'll
improvements.
just have it continue
Yeah.
as a playground thing.
cool. So yeah, we're really close on that, and I really think, I started small, and if it turns out that the demand is good, I think Brian will be able to get us more. So, and I ordered a sample of different sizes and types of shirts to see which, are the favorite of the people.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Very good. Let's see, Ciaran, is that everything that you have? Okay. Tidy?
All right, so I actually had a stellar 4th of July in the tournament. 15 minutes in, we sold all 50 players packs. And
Oh, man.
I had to turn away 23 known players that wanted to play because I didn't have the packs of discs for them. Because the challenge is everyone plays with the exact same discs, and I bought 50, thinking that, wow, 50 is a lot. Considering the other tournaments in the area, if they have 30 to 35, that's a very successful tournament for them.
Yeah.
I should have known better though, because the last tournament I did it at 44 here, so I thought I should have done more, but I didn't, and it bit me on this one. So moving forward, I have $1,250 that were raised. So $625 was for the disc costs, and everything else was paid for by the sponsors, for the towels and everything else. So we netted $625. So there's our fundraiser. For people playing disc golf, it's kind of fun. We only had 4 Port Orford residents. 46 of those people were from out of town. We had 36 men, 4 women, and 10 1,200 kids.
Wow.
It was really cool. It was really sweet to see everyone there. Moving forward, we have one October 28th, the second series called the Halloween Huck. I want to buy 100. I want to buy 100 players packs. If I don't sell 100, no big deal. I'll sell them here in town. They're going to be custom dyed discs with stamps. And if we don't sell them, I'll have no problem selling these discs here in town. But yeah, I'm looking forward to making it even better and improving each time, and hopefully making more money for the park each time too. So, yeah, that's the 28th of October, and then the 22nd of December will be the Saturday before Christmas, and we're gonna do the Christmas wrap up. It's gonna be the 3rd series, and we'll have people, if you participated in all 3 and you show up to all 3 of them, then you get a special prize. And then if the overall champion from all 3 tournaments, who has the lowest score total, has a championship belt that says Port Orford Disc Golf Champion, like a legit wrestling style belt that they are all clamoring for. So it's sort of cool to see all these people come up for it. So I'm excited for our park. We also got $5,000 donated to us from the Oregon Coast Visitors Center. Yep. No?
That was Dave, I think.
Dave Lacey with.
And that was to help put in
to help clear out the back 9 area. It was $5,000 to get some people in there to help us out. So that's good. The nature trail, we've already talked to all the people of the nature trail. They're down to install new trails and utilize that piece of property. So we're going to get moving forward with that probably after the ban and everything, so we can actually cut some things down and cut down back there. But looking forward, I would like to get that done before the end of the year, so maybe in Christmas we can have a full 18-hole course here. So there you go. There's my report. That's what I did this month.
Okay.
Oh,
I also got the stuff for the community center to fix the cracks. And then our wonderful interns from Redfish, they told me today that the visitor center has a lot of ants in the back. So I went today and bought a bunch of ant trap stuff. So we'll give that to them so we can get it all handled. So there you go.
Okay. All right, thank you for that. And Commissioner Tidy, and oh boy, let's see. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a Jubilee per se representative
Jen Bailey.
here. Jen?
She's on the phone.
Oh, Jim Bailey. Just want to say spectacular job on that Jubilee. Jubilee is back and in force, and that's wonderful to see. So that was my first thing. I mean, the fourth year, I just planned to be exhausted, and I was. So after dinghy racing and pickleball playing and tournament playing and parade and everything else, there's a lot going on there. So anyways, congratulations though to the Jubilee Committee on a spectacular event.
The car show made the front page.
And the car show was amazing, and all the vendors by the
They had
A-frame.
55 cars show up.
The car
I
show.
went past. That was-
55, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't wait to look forward to improving on next year. They learned a lot from this year and want to improve next year, and I can't wait to support it. So it was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
It was really cool to see all the people in the park Saturday. There was over 500 to 600 people in our park.
Yeah,
It was packed.
I'll just, if I could add,
Please.
So I'm also the president of the Rotary, and between Main Street and the Rotary, helping support the Jubilee folks, I think it was a community-wide effort. Plus the city put in public works crews, got in, darn it, I'm forgetting the name, McCutcheon. He arranged
Dave
kids.
McCutcheon.
He arranged kids
Yep.
to get work for pay to help us out. So I was, again, first of all, the energy on this commission is outstanding, but the whole community really rallied to support this Jubilee. We sold 438 pancake breakfasts, which they tell me is some kind of a record. So, and
It was busy.
anyway,
Right.
it was a great Jubilee. The old timers were saying they'd never seen so many people on the parade route. It was really magic, really magic. So sorry to interject that, but
No.
it's hard.
I'm
It's hard
glad.
to keep it to myself.
We'll take all the good news.
I must say, as I was sitting upon my 10-foot pole on my float, looking down Main Street, and it was just like so many people. I mean, I was like, wow, this is amazing.
Good.
Happy birthday,
You were on a
America.
10-foot pole on a float. What are you
I was.
talking about?
Oh, you'll have to see the pictures.
Yeah.
It was
Are you going to show the pictures later today?
No, I wasn't planning to, but it was pretty amazing. I was like, shoot, I wish I had a GoPro so you could see
Well,
what
you've got Main Street right there, and Dennis did
Yeah.
landscaping. I mean, just everything. It's great.
Our mayor pivoted, and there was nobody was going to lead the parade with the flag, and he came in here to City Hall and grabbed the flag out of here and walked down front. I thought that was pretty epic. of Mayor Pat. It was really cool
Oh, wow.
of our mayor to lead the way. It was really cool.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, let's see. As far as reports that I have, other than that, regarding playground, once we get the exact plans dialed in, and I think we have playground design. We'll talk about. But we're looking at 6 to 8 months, and that's the manufacturing.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I'll defer back to the agenda. What else? The barbecue stuff, I know we're gonna talk to fire marshal. I don't know if we've done that yet, but those are in. We just have to.
We have an item for that later.
We do?
What about,
Okay.
what about the pickleball tournament?
Pickleball tournament was incredible.
How many different brackets did you have?
There
age
was,
brackets, mixed or
No,
doubles
it
or
was,
singles,
it
or
was
how did it go?
first come, first served as
Okay.
far as, and we had, the way it works is 16 people all play, like, it's kind of a complicated bracket system, but it worked really well.
Okay, maybe I need to cut to the chase.
Yeah.
There was a tournament that brought in a wad of cash. Did you bring in a wad of cash?
No.
Okay.
That's probably why the treats aren't allowed. Yeah. No, we No, we barely covered our
Okay.
expenses. What was raised went to the club.
I know. I'm just
Yeah.
giving our time.
Yeah, he had way more attendees, but
All right.
we weren't trying to hustle attendees.
Good. Oh, thank you. I see.
I mean, not like that. Anything else from my report? Playground? Looking forward to talking about the visitor center. So, all right, I'll conclude. 7A, skating at community center update, old business. Ron, you want to take that?
Well, he's talking about the old business skating.
Skating, we do have the, what's up?
Oh, we go visitor center first.
Oh, yeah, thank you, sorry. 7AA, which is visitor center. Visitor center. So, John, you want to lead the discussion on this, what you know, and we'll dive in.
Sure. So we have the city owns the visitor center. It's part of our parks system. And currently we have 2 occupants to the visitor center. We have the Redfish and we have the Main Street. And we had a nice meeting. First of all, the Public Works painted the outside, and then Main Street started on painting the inside. And there was a question about what color it should be, and they may be here to present some of that. But we had a very good meeting, and it essentially Main Street wants to come up with volunteers to host a visitor center so we can have it open. And I don't have much more to say, so I'd let you hear from them, and then if there's any questions. And then Greg, I just kind of summarized the meeting we had with the visitor center, but we're going to hear from Main Street and Redfish, I think, a little bit.
So Main Street wants to get the visitor center back open. I know Kelly was our person, and Kelly sort of stepped away for a while and had her own stuff, so I took the reins on it for right now. But visitor center would like to be open again. I think we were going to do 4 volunteers. I told them that we could get 4 volunteers from our pool, that they would do 3 volunteers from their pool. But it looks like we can get it back up and get it funded. We actually have Zipley fiber ran to the building. We're now waiting on literally the install. The fiber is ran to the building and it's called up outside. Pretty much just got to get an install appointment made. I think the 4th of July just got put in a little back burner with all of us here. So we'll get that happening. Hopefully we can call.
So you say we and stuff. I mean, do you need staff to make a call?
Now I will, yeah, because I just got told that Zipley ran that.
Yeah.
That was something that was told that could never happen. We went pivoted, and all of a sudden Zipley just ran the stuff the correct way.
Okay.
They didn't dig anything else. They ran it down the copper wire, but it's there.
Okay.
That was their old drop. Frontier. They bought Frontier. So we'll be able to get our phone number and we'll be able to get internet back to the visitor center. I know that was our big hang up with volunteers before. Main Street, Susan, you want to step up and talk, I guess? Main Street would like to paint the inside of the building and finish painting it. And they had some ideas on the colors and stuff like that. And I wanted to just have them run it by us.
Yeah.
Since it's our building, you know what I mean? We had started painting it and we just lost momentum on the whole painting thing. So.
Okay.
We are not trying to take over for sure.
No.
We just are seeing that a valuable resource for the tourists that are coming through are amazing. And if they don't know what's happening, they're just going to keep driving to Bandon. And I think some part of the TLT and the Parks Commission is to get people to stop, and a visitor center does that, and it's the last date was January 1, so that's over 6 months that it's not had anybody able to even know what we do here other than driving by and go, oh, Mr. Eds has coffee,
I don't think your mic is on. Can you turn that on?
Is it on?
That's better.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I
It's
just
just
wasn't
not
here.
close enough.
Okay.
Good Lord, I was a teacher. I should be able to do it without that. So anyway, I sent you an email about wanting to get together and work with parks. We're not trying to take over. We're not trying to push any agenda. We just want to see it open. We'd love to work with you guys to get it open. And we had a meeting with John and Greg, and well, first we had a meeting with the Main Street folks. And we have some people, and Tom came because they're doing interactive displays there. So that's going to be really cool to have that there. And so we're trying to get a coordination between Parks, City, as one entity, Main Street, and Redfish Rocks to really make that a vital place that people want to come and stop. I mean, we're never going to be as big as some of the other places, but to really make it go. And so we noticed that the painting was just kind of not quite done. It wasn't cut in and that sort of thing. And one beam has, it's, you know, it just looks like, well, we had a painting party and it was sure fun, but nobody wants to do that again, you know, so.
That was, I think that's exactly how it went. Almost exactly how it went.
And the other thing that our group said was, every beach town in the world has that beach blue. It's almost a cliche, and although it's pretty, we'd like to just make the walls a background because what we want to emphasize is what Port Orford has to offer. John said he could get rid of that fortress of a desk so we look a little friendlier.
We really want to clean it up and actually maybe take most of those big brochures out that say, stay away from Port Orford, go to these other cool places.
Yeah.
Because the Port Orford brochures are about 6 or 7 deep and that's it.
Yeah.
So I'd much rather focus on that.
We have a lot of ideas.
And they are too. So it'd be cool for us as a collaborate group, and it's somebody who wants to do it, Kelly. You actually have a admin now who is wanting to really help out and knowledgeable in all this. And then Susan, you know, and her group, and then Tom and his fine interns are going to have a really cool interactive, how big that thing? It's like 30-inch screen. It's huge.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's.
Yeah, I can speak to that.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. We'll have Tom come and talk too, because it's going to be, we have a lot of stuff. So if you want to be the rep for Visitor Center again, it might be nice to have you back.
No, that.
You know, that's what I was trying to say, because I actually have there's people here in town that are motivated, and we actually have the staff to back it up now.
We will have fun.
Yes, before we ever open.
And I think for the good of the order, we as a commission shut down the visitor center when it was too unsafe because there was no communication outside. There was no phone, there was no internet, it wasn't happening. It was an ongoing frustration. We finally said, this is not working. So,
and it was a heck of a winter too. That people weren't wanting to get out of their cars.
But just so, I mean, so that everybody knows.
Kelly had it running perfectly.
We as a group decided that, but we are very excited to see it back. So,
yeah.
Do you need a decision on something from us this evening, Susan?
Well, there was just
we had talked about the painting because I still wanted to paint stuff. Oh, well, I'm sorry. That's right.
Okay, so the only thing that we've done is we love your green color. We just think that the other one was sort of cliche, and we'd like to and this is still not the right color, but we've tried to lighten the green and put it against the sea, and then the sea itself is going to be what gets your attention, not the wall. And then our idea is to have some triangle-shaped structures with Point B Studio has decided, has offered to make great big pictures of things around here like kayaking. We can, and
it was like an advertisement banner type thing. You know what I mean?
History would be on one side, and then underneath we'd have the brochure racks for, oh, you like adventure sports. So here's all the sports that you could go do. You're a sporty guy. And then, oh, I'm a history buff. So we would have another side of the triangle would be Hughes House and the museum, and even going by Lindbergh House and seeing the burned out Lindbergh House, that sort of thing. And then another one would be art. And we'd have all the art galleries and have a little thing about that. And so it'd be They wanted to start with, we wanted to start with more, but we got permission at our meeting to start with 2. They tend to think that they're going to be too clumsy, but we're getting rid of all the other brochures. We're getting rid of that. It's just a jumble, and you go in there and your mind spins. You look at all those brochures. If they want to find out what's to do in Bandon, go to Bandon and find out, you know? I think we need to just focus on Fort Orford and what we've got here. We've got a paradise here.
We do have a paradise, and there's so much that this community has to offer with, you know, even the places you go to hike to see, the art galleries, everything. It's really beautiful, and I'm really happy that we're here to be able to communicate about that. And
Yeah.
Susan, thank you so much. And just the idea of bringing color into it and wanting to change it and make it something new and different, I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
And then
honestly,
we thought
I
we
say the
would
more
try
color,
to
the better.
maybe get either June or Darren to come and take the big wall just as you come in, where I call them the dead things, but Tom will be mad at me. But there's that display, and it's cool, and it could be made really cool by having it be like start at the sand and down into the ocean and all these skulls. You know, it'd be really cool that way. And he's got amazing collage that somebody did. It's amazing. And so to emphasize that part, and Tom said that he'd work with us. Maybe he's changed his mind. and we'll try to make it a vibrant place that invites you to our community and forget about a lot of the other places.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds like a great approach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So all we're saying is what we want to do is use the color that was already there, and this was supposed to be much lighter than it is still. This is 50% of that, they told me. I don't believe it, but we just want to go with green and green and have everything else be the colors. These are representative of
How about the
what
floors?
color the floors?
The floors are nasty blue carpet.
Well, they're that nasty carpet, but the idea is in the winter time, when traffic is low, we'll scrape up all the glue in that ugly old carpet. And Dash Curry used to do staining of concrete and have it stained.
Can I make a wild suggestion?
Yes.
I went to an art school in college, and often what appeals the eye is contrasting colors, and contrasting color to blue is orange. It doesn't have to be an insane orange, but a very tasteful orange might be nice.
Well, we were going with leaving this up, you know,
And I don't
leaving
mean
the
to,
ceiling
like,
alone, and we want to go back to dark beams because the light beams draw your attention. We don't want you looking at the beams. We want you looking at what we have to offer.
Okay.
I love any good copper color.
So
Well, thank you. What's that?
for today, do we need any motion or?
Well, I think
decision
we're
about
going to hear from Tom, and you're going to hang out for a little bit if you have more questions. Okay, good. Tom Caldenese with OSU Field Station.
Can we go back on that for a second? Actually,
Oh.
just, I think at the last meeting, we all kind of discussed and talked about in agreement that we would love to see mainstream help take over that kind of situation.
Well,
As far
let's
as
hear
structural,
from,
but with their creative ideas.
yeah, let's hear from this guy. And then,
So, yeah, thanks for the chance to talk to you guys a little bit about the visitor center. I think this is great conversation to be talking about, like reopening it. We're super excited about that too. Before I say anything, I want to introduce the 3 interns that are working with the Redfish Rocks. They're doing Redfish Rocks Marine Reserve Science Communication and Interpretation internships. And obviously a lot of that's going to occur within and around the visitor center. So if you guys don't mind, Soph Fox, Connor Gonzalez, and Grant Marshall. And they are with, 2 of them are through Oregon Sea Grant, Soph and Connor. They're Sea Grant Summer Scholars. They're here till the end of August. And Grant is a Marine Studies Initiative intern, also at the same time period. And I'm going to give them an opportunity to say a few things about the meeting that we had, which was great. And I agree with Susan and everything John said, and Greg was there too. I think it was fantastic opportunity to just sort of exchange ideas, walk around the space, in the space, and think about how it could be, better, just, more welcoming and more vibrant and everything. So I think that's awesome. And I love what you just said about contrasting colors, Yarn, because the two exhibits that are now completed and ready to be installed at the visitor center, one of them I think is going to hit that contrasting color thing that you just said, because there's a marine debris mural that was just finished by artist named Elizabeth Roberts, and she does basically plastic marine debris. She's created a mural of underwater mural from redfish rocks, and there's some cool like red fish, like orange fish that would sort of hit that contrasting color thing you're just talking about. The other project is, as Susan mentioned, an interpretive display, an interactive display that'll display information about the critters that live at the Marine Reserve and some of the things that go on around town. There'll be sort of a focus on the Marine Reserve, but also to connect it to the community. So those two projects are pretty much completed and now ready to be installed in the visitor center as part of this whole refurbishing, I guess I'll call it. And what we're hoping to do is get that done pretty soon and do a little bit of a unveiling event, which could become something that might sort of dovetail with the reopening of the visitor center. Could be like an opportunity to say, hey, we're open again, and here's some cool new things. And I also just want to mention that the interns are working on a Redfish Rocks on the Dock event that's now scheduled for August 26th. So just a heads up on that. You're going to hear a bunch more about that. And I also want to mention when we talked at the meeting, one thing I'm willing to help out with is to talk to the Oregon Coast Visitors Association and Travel Oregon. We had a little conversation about the floor. Everybody agrees the floor is no bueno. And I'm happy to pursue some opportunities that I have there to work with people there in ACPA and Travel Oregon to commit to some funding for that. So I like the idea of the staying with concrete too, but who knows, you might, with a little resources, you might be able to come up with something that might be a little more, I don't know, durable. I mean, I guess the concept is you got people walking the beach and then walking in there. Carpet, maybe not the best thing, but maybe something that would be able to deal with the sand, and I don't know what the answer is. I think all the conversations about like painting and beautifying it is great. And one thing I'm super agree with is rethinking the whole idea of like big stands of brochures. And I want to just give the students a chance to speak, if you guys don't mind, because I think they have some great perspectives as sort of fresh eyes and frankly, different generation. And I want to just give them a chance to share some of their observations because I think they're really good and they're consistent with, I think, the consensus about what would make the visitor center a better place. And it will give them an opportunity to work on that as part of their internship too.
Perfect.
I'll let you know one at a time.
Yeah.
Mike is yours.
Welcome to Port Orford.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Grant again. So yeah, I think the visitor center has a lot of potential to bring in more people than it is right now. So we've been talking kind of about the brochures and whatnot. There's 3 separate brochure stands in there right now. So one thing I would propose is leave the 2 that are attached to the wall and kind of, we've been talking about moving more to brochures that are Port Orford related and just kind of chucking the massive one in the corner. And then maybe that'll free up space where we could either put the interactive exhibit or the mural, where we could use that wall space. And then also, if we moved out the large desk, that would free up a lot of space as well. And then I feel like that back little corner could be where we put in the new stuff that we have room for. And we also have the cases of the dead stuff that could definitely be cleaned up a lot. And I think there's also a lot of potential to leave that, maybe just like a quick little clean it up, maybe replace it with some other stuff that we can just find on the beach ourselves. So that would be another good idea, I think, to refurbish some of this. And yeah, that's basically all I have.
Thank you, Grant.
Okay, thank you, Grant, for your time.
Hi, I'm Soph. Excited to be here. I'm excited to see the visitor center reopen. Kind of echoing what other people have said, definitely support toning down the brochures a bit. Yeah, I know we're just starting with 2 of the brochure stands, but I do want to caution against maybe adding too many of those too fast. I think it could become distracting and cause people to not make it all the way to the back of the visitor center, which might potentially be where the mural and our interactive stand are. So we want to make sure people are still able to access those and be aware that they're there once they come in. Some other things related to the visitor center, I, as part of my internship, am hoping to develop a junior ranger program for the Redfish Rocks Marine Reserve, potentially in collaboration with the Humbug Mountain State Park. And so that, I think that could also be a really good opportunity through the visitor center. Yeah, hoping to do some of that interaction with some kids around the visitor center, and potentially once I'm gone, leaving those materials there for use through that.
That's a really fun idea. So when I still remember when I was a little kid, I was in the National Park doing a junior ranger program.
Yeah.
It's just good, clean fun. So.
Yes, I was huge on that as a kid. Oh, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Really great.
Good evening, commissioners and councilors. So I'm Connor once again, and there are 2 things I want to talk about. The first thing I'm going to talk about is, as a team, we've discussed having an unveiling event for our new art piece and the interactive screen. So sometime we'll just have some sort of event, hoping to have it sometime in the next month, I believe, or the following month sometime. Just when we get everything set up, just have some sort of unveiling party of both of them at the same time. It'd be really fun. Bring people to the visitor center, let people know it's open again. Yeah, so probably sooner is better. And the second thing I want to talk about is a project that we've been working on. I'm not sure how many of you all have done the junket tour or heard about that before. So there's an app named Junket where a lot of different where you're able to take a tour of Port Orford. There's like 11 different stops, starting from the visitor center, going down to the beach. And at each stop, you learn more about Battle Rock, intertidal ecology. You learn about the field station. You learn about things about the port. And it's just a great introduction to the city. As someone who had never been to Port Orford before, I felt well accustomed to like the brief history of it. It was like 11 different people narrating their stories about Port Orford, and it's great. But as I just proved, no one knows what junket is. And
how do you even spell it?
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. I mean,
Junket.
Okay, so it's that kind of a junk.
E-T.
I was wondering if it was a junk it.
Actually, is it? It might be IT.
No, I think it's junket. Junket is usually a kind of a romp or a.
It's junket.
Yeah.
French.
Okay. It is ET.
No, yeah, no, but that's what I was. Yeah. So yeah, if you're on a junket, sure.
Yeah. So ideally, I was hoping to move that to Google Maps, but the integration with the ability to actually navigate with Google Maps, a lot of the information, like I did all the transferring over from Junket to Google Maps, and it did not work just because of Google's API and just how Google shows it. It just, the information is lost and you're not able to really navigate with it, which is really sad. But I think there's still hope for this project. Something that we've been discussing and something preparing for our own event is creating a physical signs that you can scan. There will be QR codes, and you'll be able to hear the audio and see a short video. And also, I'm planning on recording just a guided virtual tour of it. So just having a video going along the whole way of you watching the tour, or you not having to go on the tour, but you can still see everything and hear from everyone. But the thing that I think needs to be talked about is the ability to install permanent signs potentially. For now, for our Redfish Rocks on the Dock event, we're planning on introducing people to the tour at the visitor center, and then having these movable signs that we purchased set down, and people can go along the trail and follow them. I think it's a great, really great introduction to Port Orford.
It's really cool. It's a great idea. It has, it has 12 stops now.
Oh, it's 12. My bad.
0.8 miles. It's
Who administers that, or who manages it?
Somebody did.
somebody did.
Connor wants to administer it now.
Yeah.
I'm just taking what was already there.
You started, okay. Redfish Rock started the junket thing.
Why don't we know more about this?
Yeah.
Well, here we are.
I think Junket.
Better late than never, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
The app is actually pretty broken. The Junket app, like I've tried taking it a second time, but it didn't work. So, I think the idea for it to be a more permanent installation would be amazing. There doesn't have to be 12 signs. I think it could be reduced to like 5 or 6. We only have 5 or 6 stops right now, and you're still able to get everything because there's multiple stops at like the port and in front of the Port Orford Sustainable Seafood, and like there could be 3 stops combined just at the visitor center. You can like look around. So anyways,
Actually, so Buffington, we haven't put the sign, but that makes me think of the only existing structure, to my knowledge, of the old mill in the middle of Buffington, right behind the pickleball courts, and that could be a stop to get them into the park and to know what. There you go. But anyways, it's just 2 mounds of concrete. I mean, 2 blocks of concrete, but that's the last of an old mill that we here.
oh wow.
Anyways,
It could definitely be expanded, or there could be multiple tours, like
Yeah.
a historical tour and one of just the coastal tour, which is the third one. So there's a lot of room for expansion upon this idea, but for now, I'm just hoping to put it out there that we're going to put out these signs, and maybe eventually being able to install more permanent signs in the town, and having this tour be permanent rather than relying on an app.
It would be really helpful if we could have like a list of actual locations where the signs need to go, because only some of this is going to be within parks jurisdiction, and even then, some of that has to be reviewed by tribal and city folks.
We can approve it as a commission.
But it can go to city council. It sounds like a great project. Awesome. I'll never download Junket, but I will scan QR codes.
Okay.
Great. Thank you
Well,
so
thank
much.
you. Tom, do you have any follow-up?
Yeah, just real quick, thanks for listening and giving the students a chance to participate. I think this is one thing we want from young people right now, is to be part of the process. So thanks.
Yeah, thank you guys
for your. So yeah, I back up everything I just heard. Thanks for responding. The one thing I just want to make sure you understand is what Connor's talking about for our event is to put out temporary stands for these locations, and then and then we can work out the details of what it might work, how it might work to have QR codes. I've even seen event things like this where you can actually print it, like do a 3D print of a QR code that gets glued to like something, could have a plaque, sign, or something. So there's ways to do it that I think we all know what the wind can do to anything you put out there. But I think we can get creative about, figuring out ways to make that work. And obviously we want to get the word out about this. I think that this is the kind of thing that is very much, it's the way a lot of people interact with a new place these days. They pull out their phone. And if you give them a QR code to point their phone at, and then it speaks to them. And I think that's the reality we're in right now. And it kind of cuts across almost all generations. There's certainly a few people that are still, like my dad, can't get my dad to FaceTime me. But anyway, thanks for the time. We're ready to work as a team, like I said, ready to help with funding for the floor, to work with Main Street. I feel like you guys got a good handle on the volunteer piece. And then the interns will be doing like added value stuff, doing outreach with people outside the visitor center and directing them in, and then doing the unveiling event. I think would be a cool way to sort of like reopen. And we're volunteering to take the old brochure junky fancy thing to the dump if it needs to go to the dump.
Okay.
Got a truck.
Now,
Right
so
now.
what is needed then from us in this? It sounds like, I mean, I definitely appreciate, and I think the whole commission appreciates all the energy. Now, what are the details
Can I
that need
not
to
be in
work
charge
out?
of it?
Is there anything?
I don't want to be in charge of the visitor center anymore. I think Kelly is.
If I could summarize the
Okay,
meeting.
here you go.
So the existing format is the city is running the visitor center, and Main Street and Redfish are tenants. There's a front room and there's 2 back rooms.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're proposing to do is kind of change that a little bit, where they each still are tenants in the 2 back rooms, but they work together with, I think, Main Street taking the lead of getting the front room together and staffed and displays set up. And I think between Greg and me, we said, you guys work it out, and if you can't work it out, come to us and we'll be the arbitrators or something. Is that fair, Greg? Is that kind of summarize it? So, and everyone, I think, is on the same page from what I can tell. They're going to work out the displays and the painting. Susan, were you looking for permission to paint that color from the Parks Commission, and do you feel like you got it, or you got? Yeah.
That Parks needed to
We
decide.
just wanted to talk about it. I didn't want me to make the decisions, or John. I wanted us as a commission to do it.
Good. So are you guys comfortable with?
So by consensus, we want to say they can handle the color. So,
Thank you
okay.
so much.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
And so then y'all are good. Tom, you're good. Like everything. You don't need anything more from us.
We'll be in talks about the volunteers. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
what?
we need to start getting a list of
Yep, we will.
volunteers, because it's gonna be a while. We can open even as is if we can get the painting done and get it staffed. Then as we make these changes, we can just grab the brochures and put them in and get rid of the.
I'll make sure me and John get on the Zipley thing this week. I have a contact here in Tuesday that's the installer that I purposely corralled him and got all of his personal info so that we had somebody local. So we'll make sure we get that installed, and then.
I have a list of volunteers.
I know. So that's what I'm saying. We're ready. Yeah.
I don't think she heard that.
Susan.
Commissioner Bechtel just said, as far as the.
I was just saying, I have a list of volunteers.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we'll get it rolling.
Yep. And so Susan would be doing the scheduling of them, and we're talking a couple of volunteers for a couple of shifts a day, something like that.
Yep.
We'll be focusing on the 2 installations.
Yep.
And helping out with the brochure.
And they know where all that is, and because they're talking about the back area
Yep.
and all that. Good. Well,
I think Commissioner Fraser.
cool. Go ahead.
It wasn't really a point, I just kind of had a little bit of an idea, like how we did in the past, when we did like a walkthrough at the park and just kind of like touch base without a formal idea or agreeing on anything. I was thinking maybe we could all do like a meetup, greet up with the 3 Hardens commissions going forward in like a week or so, just to like all kind of get together and be like, hey, this is what we're looking at, this looks really great, like we all like what we're proposed.
Yeah.
Nothing
Sounds
to
good.
agree on necessarily or meet on. But if that's something you guys are interested in, I think it might be kind of cool just to get together as a
We had
circle.
that meeting already with.
Yeah, they just weren't.
Yeah.
It was just. It was. Everyone wasn't privy.
I would.
Yeah, I mean, see, that's the thing is I haven't really heard about all of this. This is all wonderful and I love it, and it's not this, it would be kind of cool.
I support that idea.
Yep.
When do you guys all want to get together and have a hang at the visitor center?
Yeah.
Next couple weeks? Next week?
Well,
We want to get going on.
We're rolling.
I think any of you can go by there anytime and contact either Tom or Susan.
There you
and
go.
Arrange a meeting on your own would, I think, is be the most expeditious way to do it without trying to organize.
Perfect.
That's okay though.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
As long as there's no agreements and voting,
Yeah.
then that should be okay.
As for myself, I'm thrilled about the
Yeah.
idea that we are going to take our 1990s visitor center and bring it up to speed. This is very exciting, and I'm grateful to both Main
looking forward to checking out that interpretive. It's an interpretive thing.
Yeah,
That's a mural.
Oh.
very nice.
And it specifically speaks to Port Orford stuff.
Yes.
That's great. Okay, y'all good?
Commissioner Thompson, real quick, before we go
oh,
on.
yeah.
I don't think she realized she could have talked, but China really she had the horse show here. She wanted to give her.
That's where I recognize
Yeah.
you from.
So but instead of making her sick, can we just let her talk?
Yes, please come forward. We've been looking forward to someone talking horse things for a long time, so this is a welcome present.
We can share.
My name is Shania Lilly. I am the executive director of Lilies of the Field Equine Rescue. And I just want to say I'm super thankful that you guys have supported us and let us use the arena for our benefit horse show. 2 years in a row now. This last year, or June 10th was our last one, and we had over 70 people there.
Wow.
And we had a ton of horses, and a lot of those people forego going to the 4-H shows to our show, and a lot of people came from Gold Beach and North Bend, and I'm gonna venture to say half of them were people who used to come to the arena for like play days and stuff, and they were super, super excited. I put an ad out in the shopper for volunteers, and we got a lot of people from Port Orford who really wanted to help rebuild it and repaint it, and because they just want to start using it for their own horses and whatnot. What came pretty apparent though was the rails were rotting, and then the day before Greg, somebody had broke the rails. They had stepped on them or something, and then he got the parts people out to fix it right before our show, so that was like super great, but it was really apparent that it's not a safe place for really big things. So I would like to propose, and the rescue is a nonprofit, and we would be taking the lead on all the fundraising and all that stuff, but we would like to replace all the posts and the rails. We would reuse the gates. There's a letter that's going around with, it's basically our donation letter of what we would be asking businesses for and whatnot. But we would like to change the arena very slightly. But right now it's 105 wide by 248 length. The gold standard for show arenas or anything is 100 by 200, and that's like plenty big enough for anything you would want to do anything horse related with. So we thought about taking the extra 48 feet and making it into a staging warm-up arena so that a lot of the people and kids could gather there with their horses versus out in the street or wherever. And then we kind of wanted to take those stalls out at the front. Mostly because there's a big tree there now.
The tree in the middle?
Yeah. And then we had quite a few people who wanted to park and they were handicapped and they wanted to just drive up and see. I don't know about the laws about actual handicap parking, but I thought about just leaving that open so maybe people could just drive up and watch from their vehicles. Was there other proposed idea? As far as the actual posts, we want to replace some with 10-foot 4x6s pressure treated, like the same that are in now. We want to go relatively deep, that's why we're going with the 10-footers. And then we're just gonna, unless if we get an excessive amount of funding, we're just gonna go with rough cut rails because they're the cheapest and they're super easy to replace. And yeah, they're cheap and available for sure. And I got a bid from Hunt Lawns. They do a ton of fences, and they do really great work. And their bid for the whole project was, for labor and materials, was $13,000, which everybody's saying is super low, which is awesome.
When she said it to me, I thought that was extremely cheap.
Yeah. So that was just the arena as is without the stalls, and then with the added staging area in the 40-foot area, it would be around $14,000. I'm not asking for money. I'm totally prepared to do the campaign and all that. I would just like permission to, if that can be I don't know if we can do that today, but I would just like to
We
get
can,
rolling.
we'll talk to our city admin real
and
quick.
then push it on the city.
Yeah, I'll take a look at the budget and see where we can fit that in.
Well, it wouldn't be
No,
any budget on us.
suggesting
They're paying
they're
for it
gonna-
all.
I mean, we'll take your money.
No, no, no. John, just for quick update, on our Parks Master Plan, 2025, we have $40,000 supposedly, or 2027, we have $40,000 set aside for this in the Parks Master Plan. Now, have we followed the Parks Master Plan? No. Also, the arena is in dire straits now. In 2027, it's not gonna be around. So if we can get private funding to do this,
I will motion that we approve, or that we, approve that
I think
Lily's
you guys make
we make
recommendations.
approve to make the recommendation for Lilies of Field to do what they need to improve the horse arena.
With the.
Sierra Fragrant seconds the motion. Whoop.
I would like to say with the amendments to the layout that is proposed.
Okay.
Just
So
so that
this,
we're not rebuilding.
the warm-up area and everything.
We add the warm-up area and it's gonna subtract 48 feet from the length of the arena.
No, that
So-
will be subtracting, that will be in the layout.
it'll be
Yeah.
inside the
Yeah.
Right. but
Yeah.
it'll
So my
be
motion
parked
still
in
stands
inside.
to, for, and then so does Ciaran's discussion.
Sounds great.
And depending on how quickly we can get the funding and stuff, I'd really like to have it in before the big show, like June of next year, preferably. I know I'm being very ambitious, but I would like
She's
to,
already got the second.
and it's gonna take about a week, just so everybody knows, and we'll get lots of prep time before we actually get in there, but it should be during the rainy season though.
Are you able to come and share this with city council when they go over it as well?
Yeah, when is it?
Maybe
2 weeks from tonight.
The third week of the month, usually third Thursday of the month.
So that would be,
If not,
okay, so we have
I can bring it up on my
we
Parks
have a
Commission
motion, we
meeting.
have a second, discussion, any additional discussion?
I think it's
And then-
wonderful. The arena's in bad condition.
Yeah, we're excited. I'm excited.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Beckdahl, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Casser?
Definitely yes.
Tidy?
Yes.
Commissioner Frazier?
Yes.
And Thompson is a yes. So we look forward to seeing some good things.
Is your contact information on this
Yes,
material?
it
Good.
is, yes.
I was gonna ask for you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for bringing some energy to the horse arena. It's been a long time. So
Thank you guys. I just want to reiterate a lot of support for this last one, and a lot of things went wrong. And thanks to Greg for getting things going.
I do not have a email or.
It's at
phone-
the bottom.
Oh, there it is.
Last
There it is.
paragraph.
Please contact us. Thank you very much.
And I was there for that horse show and it was awesome. My kids loved it.
Yes.
It was.
Special thanks to Porter Fire Department too, because
Yes,
they came in the
yes.
morning and watered down the horse arena, so no dust control whatsoever.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right
That was
on.
a game changer.
Cool.
Yeah,
Thank you
it
for
was.
taking the time to be here tonight.
Yes.
Very exciting. Thank you.
Okay, moving on. No, that's great. And now we're on to 7A, which is skating and community center update. Who wants to take the lead on that?
We got the pads, we got the bollards, and Greg's got the cement. And I think those are the three items, and it's just a matter of advertising
The skate community is clamoring to go at it. Doesn't need the advertising, you can tell them at night and they'll be there.
Could I
Yeah, go.
would like to say, I went to a show at Mr. Ed's and I was talking to grown-ups, and several grown-ups want to roller skate. So I think we're gonna do a Friday night skate as well.
Rose and Rachel,
we have,
I'll give you their contact information. Rose and Rachel are the heads of that. And I will give you your contact information for those ladies, and they would love to talk to you.
So like from, 7 to 9 or 6 to 8 or something like that.
Yep, I'd like to
Can
get
we
it going.
shoot for like
I'd like
the
to get it going this.
21st, which is a Friday night of July?
I mean, all that's technically left literally is filling
Yeah.
these cracks, and that's it.
So that'd be 2 weeks from now. Can we shoot for a skate night on Friday night?
Yeah, we could even do it, Greg, could we do it a week from
We
tomorrow,
could do it,
right?
Yeah, we could do it from the week from tomorrow easily. I'm just
So
saying we
you're
can do
saying
it
the
the week
14th?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be gone, but that doesn't mean the show doesn't have to roll.
Well, it'd be
So-
everyone. We're gonna do it on Friday or Saturday.
So
It's up to you.
what I would also like to do, Greg, sorry, but
No, please.
I want you all there, at least Greg and Brian. I want your hands on these pads. I want to take a picture, and I want, if we got kids who will be touching the pads that are letting them skate again, and give that to Matt. And hopefully, he did a good job of that car show picture today, and he's been really good about supporting what we're doing. So
Yeah.
I think that would be a nice way to announce it. If we can get it in next Wednesday's paper, we can get that picture
So if it is
this
next
week
week,
and get it in next Wednesday's paper, then people would know for Friday, or kids would know.
Okay, so you're gonna plan for Friday the
Greg,
14th
can you-
is the
yeah.
first skate night?
Good, all right, we'll organize that.
14th. And are we gonna try for the following Friday night as
I think
well?
we'll try to
For the
just keep it
21st?
going, yeah.
We'll get with Rose and Rachel and see what
They can do. Okay, that sounds good.
Wednesday and Saturday night is what they had. So we want
That's right, it was Wednesday,
adults,
Saturday.
adults like on
Today.
Friday.
And there's an employee from the city that
That's
has to
John.
be there?
It's gonna be
You're
me.
gonna be
Yeah, our city administrator.
Ah,
Yeah,
you're
well,
the man.
I'm planning on, I was a sports official, so I've got a referee shirt, and it'll be look kind of official, and, hopefully it'll keep everybody.
And it,
Yeah.
most importantly, will satisfy the terms of our insurer, right?
Yes,
There you
exactly.
go.
Yeah, exactly. It checks off all those things.
So that's wonderful. And
great.
we can expect, I think, demand for skating to increase as the weather degrades. So this
Oh, yeah.
will actually probably be the slowest season, which might be a great time to get the ball rolling and kind of figure out the new pattern.
I don't know, I know people have been really looking forward, even Petra, when can I go skating? When can I go skating?
Confidence a bit, okay.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people that are ready for this, so, awesome, that's great to hear. Park bench plaque price discussion.
So this was when we ordered all those benches. We were told, remember, that we had people that wanted to buy memorial benches and everything else. And that never came to fruition. Now we have benches and we're waiting on plaques for benches. So it looks on the back page of this, the financial one that we use on the financial statements, it actually says that these plaques are $148.85. And then the benches were $878. Well, I think two of them were being replaced for benches that are currently in place at Battle Rock.
Yeah.
And I think that we were gonna sell 4, or we had, because previous admin had said that she had been contacted by a whole bunch of families here in town that would like to purchase a memorial bench. And that's when we purchased more benches this time.
How many do you actually have?
We have 6 benches and six benches total.
Okay, 6 benches.
They're aware they're purchasing the benches to place somewhere, or did they think that they were purchasing a plaque for it?
They're purchasing the
bench
Bench to
with a
put
custom plaque
somewhere.
with a plaque.
on the city property.
At the Wayside? Or Battle Rock? I mean, Buffington, sorry.
Buffington.
It was like 2, 2, and 2, so where were those, each of those
We were gonna do
twos?
2 at Buffington, 2 at Battle Rock, and 2, I forget where the other one.
Like an overlook or something? That's
I
not
honestly
our-
don't know, but we just ordered them because that way we could, we knew we could sell them.
I've heard someone said there was supposed to be a bench right outside City Hall in Dennis's landscaping.
So that may be one
I
of
think
them.
it might be, yeah.
It was a pipe dream, John.
That's the first I heard about one
It
year.
was all pipe dream for a year and a half of us trying to get this all organized, so a lot of us don't remember what was all said.
So my question is, I don't doubt that we could sell the plaques or the benches, but do we know the original families who had asked to participate, or should we don't?
We probably don't know that
Probably don't
direct
know that,
answer, so we
yeah.
could put that out, you know what I mean?
Out in the
We can try to see if we
Mm-hmm.
can contact the families that are at Battle Rock. There's benches with names on them.
I seem to remember Sierra mentioned she was interested in a memorial something also, so we might want to check with her.
So we just went, now we finally have the benches. Remember, we were gonna do all this stuff and then we couldn't. So now we actually have the benches. We don't have the plaques because obviously we need to make those custom. But we know how much everything costs. So we have those all done. So we want to actively do that as a fundraiser for the park. Another way to make some money for the park is selling these benches to raise funds. That's what we initially purchased.
So we need to decide now how much it would be that if you want to sponsor a bench, that's what we're trying to do.
Our
Okay,
cost
what do you-
is like $1,100, so it needs to be higher
Is
than
it
that.
a 15, you know, it is.
That's for the bench and the plaque?
Yeah.
When
One- and that's
It came through in 2 years ago's budget.
900
2 years
plus
ago?
150,
Okay.
so,
Okay.
yeah.
So we do have to consider the fact that this was 2 years ago.
Right.
Yeah, because remember, this wasn't last year's budget, this was purchased on the budget
I remember.
for last.
Yeah.
So,
So we have these benches now?
yes, they're sitting at Public Works.
They're in public.
They're the wastewater treatment center with everything else that's on this list is sitting at the Public Works water treatment center. We have 3 message boards, the 6 benches.
The 3 message
picnic-
boards?
We have message boards that we're gonna put up. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have all that stuff.
So they're sitting, we need to go check out all this stuff.
I wrote you an email a couple times, but yeah.
Yeah, they ordered it all. All the stuff. Well, so we need to go to Public Works and see what we have. This is great.
Our cost, on the benches
Oh,
and the plaques. The
yes.
benches and the plaques, our cost is standing at $1,027.70 per bench plaque combo before we install it. And that's gonna cost some money in concrete also, right?
And time
And
and labor.
which is money, right?
Yeah.
John, do you have something to add to that?
Nope.
Okay, you look like you're biting your tongue.
No, I'm kind of yawning.
Okay.
Just trying not to.
It's been a long time. You've been here all day.
We'll try to, 7:15 now, by the
So
way.
I
so-
think in the interest of raising a little money, but also making this not crazy out of reach for our community, 1,500 seems like a reasonable floor and 2,000 seems like a reasonable ceiling. And,
I like the
somewhere in
1,500.
there, $1,500.
I think the 1,500 sounds really
It
great.
covers our costs and it gets somebody in the
Concrete
community.
is not that
Right.
expensive, and I'm sure that there are volunteers that would be willing to step into places
Okay.
such as
And that's a 30%
if we
ROI.
provide it.
I'll take that all day long.
So, by consensus, we want to say they're $1,500
For a custom
and,
memorial bench.
yeah.
Let's say you.
Sound good?
If I'm not mistaken, when they purchased these for 1,500, I think at least 500 of it, or the amount over our cost, is a donation, right? I mean, isn't that the case?
I'm not an attorney.
Okay, never mind. All right, forget it. Yeah, I'm also just thinking out loud.
I just talked to the tax
Thank
advisor
you.
about that.
You,
yeah.
man, that's a good disclaimer. I'll keep my mouth quiet, but I
Okay.
think there's.
I think we could also set this for a second and reevaluate the actual cost and prices. We figure out what it is in years.
Would
That's
essentially.
what we paid for it.
Would it say, yeah, we have.
We have
them,
it all,
they pay
okay.
it. So would our public works department be the ones, our city workers would be the ones doing the install?
Yeah, they've already asked us where we want to put all this stuff at.
All right.
So we also have, sitting in there, we have 2 grills. We have 3 square, like picnicky tables, and 1 large picnic table that's there that, to replace the ones at Bucket. So everything that's on this list, we already had the receptacles, the trash cans. So everything that's on that list is sitting at Public Works right now.
At the water treatment or over at
Water
the
treatment
yard?
center inside.
No
the
kidding.
fence.
How do they
Just
zoom
curious,
for all that?
the benches and
For
boards.
2 weeks, Brian.
We
I'm
gotta
gonna
check out
do
what we have and start figuring out where to put it. But, so we do have a consensus on the 1,500 suggested donation. I think we need to go and get eyes on all this stuff and start figuring out where we're gonna put something. I know, I distinctly remember a 2, 2, and 2 being the benches. I'll look through the notes and see. How many do we actually know the names of the people? We have zero clue.
Greg has
I know for sure that there was 2 at Battle Rock. I don't know their names. I went through my emails. And I didn't see emails from them. I could look at previous admin emails and I didn't see it.
Okay.
And I have a vague recollection of Sierra Zamuda coming to a meeting and
Yeah.
asking if she could purchase
She could
some.
do-
She did.
right.
She said she has to do it. Once we put it out there, listen, we put it on Facebook and say, hey,
They're gone.
Parks fundraising, we'd like to do it. We're clamoring over stuff that we don't need to right now. Like, you know what I mean? Don't worry
Yeah.
about who's gonna buy them. They'll all get sold.
I'm quite confident my mom would want to do one in memorial of my dad.
Yeah.
So
So that's what I'm
that's
saying.
something.
If we want to do the 1,500,
Probably only have a couple to even do. So, awesome. That's a
make a
great,
motion to set the custom benches for $1,500.
we did a consensus.
Oh.
It's already covered.
Cool.
So that's, anything else? And so let's try to go over there at some point here and check out all the stuff and start.
So that was
dreaming about that.
Start giving public works some space back after
Yeah, that's what they wanted. They wrote me 2 weeks ago asking, and I wrote Brian asking where the stuff, where we wanted it, and we next never. But they've been wanting to get that stuff out of their front yard for a while.
Yeah, I'm around Monday, next week, so anyways, over the weekend, whatever. Shall we move on to status of product approved for purchase from last year?
So we just went over.
17? Huh? We just
So
did
we
that?
just went over.
Okay, good. And then playground design 7D.
That's you.
So, Margaret Miller is our contact at Playcraft, which is based in Merlin, Oregon. I spoke with her she created 3 different designs, and that's kind of how we were able to come up with the rough ideas of monies. And for the good of the order, $163,000, which includes the fundraised monies that Ciaran has put so much work into. And others.
That we all have.
Yeah. What's that? That
we all have.
That we all have. There we go. So anyhow, when I spoke to her, she encouraged actually even coming in, and they can, formulate some stuff so we can get the actual design that we want. We do have 3 layouts that she sent, but 4, okay. So anyhow, there's that. I know Ciaran, you said you could chime in to like a virtual meeting. So we just need to get exactly what we want. I know, by the way, Sutherland has a really cool, it is a Playcraft system, but there's a set that's kind of for the younger and like totally safe for my 1-year-old. And he loved crawling all around that. And there's the more advanced for like a little bit older. That seemed to work really well. So we just need to get it dialed in, and then we're looking at 6 to 8 months. Actually, I think it's close to 8 months of manufacturing lead time. But we should, by this time next year, have a new system. Yeah.
Wonderful. Does that mean any decision this evening?
No, we don't have anything for that.
So that was going to be my question with you guys, and I know we kind of talked about, like, we looked over the 4 different ones where I'm like, wow, that one's really cool. We like this one. Oh, we like that one. But like, ooh, but that one's really cool there. I'm like, oh, that one's
There
really
was
cool
2
there.
in budget.
Back.
2 over.
2 in budget.
Yeah.
There was a couple ideas that I had that could be easily rearrangeable between the 4. It doesn't have to be the same exact structure. These are just ideas that they gave us. They're just planes. They can be moved around. Super simple. I actually at one point copied and pasted some of them, moved it around to try to fit into a budget that still had what we all wanted, that still had the child's safety area and bring the swing set back in, because that was kind of the thing where it was like, wow, these ones are really big or cool. We should get that one. I really want to make this point though to you guys really fast, even though we're not looking at them. The really cool 3-story tall ones, like with all the slides, like it's amazing, but also our community is small and we're not supplying a playground for a giant elementary school. I want to put that out there. Going back to like, the pirate ship one, we all loved that in the beginning over a year ago. Like, that's super cool. Maybe it wasn't as like flamboyant or as large as the other one, but it's unique and nobody's seen it. We don't need a 3-story slide on each side.
We can't afford that anyways. I think that was
The pirate ship was well within budget.
Within
I
budget,
think
it's
if we
great.
were,
Yeah,
I think if we were in a large city, or this was supplying for an elementary that fit 100+ kids, that would be super cool.
We're also
We
30
also
miles from the
maybe see
hospital.
20 kids at the most at our playground.
Yeah.
Say that again, sorry.
I think that we maybe see 20 kids at the most at one time at our playground. All you
Right.
guys.
Totally fair.
At one time.
I think we need to
So-
go with your playground.
We can try to make a point to have something for the next meeting to get
I would like
approved
to be
as
able
far
to
as
put that
plans.
in motion for, this is kind of what we agree on.
Yeah.
Even if we need to.
Sounds great.
And I can bring it up to council.
Email.
John's
Yeah.
got
Well, here's what I'd be willing to do as staff, is that if you guys each send to me an email with like your top 3 features that you want, and then I'll try to give you the results of that at the next meeting, so you can then just say, it'll be option A, B, or C or something, and then you can tell.
I'm not qualified. I don't have children.
Yep, I'm ready to say, I'd rather honestly, I mean,
Okay.
I think we've been kind of
I trust
working
Commissioner
through over
Thompson
the last
Fraser.
few years, some of the stuff. I think it's a pretty good idea that pirate ship, we want to include that. And see.
Yes.
Sorry, what's that?
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's just like, I would really
Yeah.
love to have a conclusion and
Yeah,
on
perfect.
the next meeting, so we can just go for it.
Yes.
I agree.
I
As
only
soon as
wanted
we
to
get in
put
that queue for manufacturing, that's
So
great.
really, the one thing that I loved absolutely about the pirate ship one was the center climbing area. I have heard from so many people that have those in their, I said they're like, yeah, and like that would bring, because there's none around here that have that. And when you look at that plan, that was the largest one that they offered from Playground. And it had a whole bunch of other little interactive stuff. That big like spiderweb thing was directly in the center. It would really draw. That's the only thing I would want.
Cool. Like
There's a whole bunch of little,
things about
that one had a whole bunch of play school, small kid stuff, and that was like the only larger.
Okay. Well, if you just, like I said, if you send me your top 3 features that you want, I'll assimilate it and bring it back to the next meeting, and we can then really get the final decision and start moving.
And I just like the idea of a pirate ship. I think that sounds like
Right.
Pirate ship. All right. Good. We know that.
I think the
There we go.
biggest issue with the other ones too is there were no swing sets. It was just one like swing, and like I asked a bunch of kids about it, and they were all, that was the biggest complaint. Was like, where do we swing? Like, I want my swing, and it's like, yeah.
The 2 that were in budget actually had the cooler swing sets.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it was
Good.
cool.
Good. Well, then we'll have some stuff to vote on for next meeting. Awesome. That brings up 9A, appointment of vice chair, which
if you guys will have me for that role, I'm willing to serve as vice chair for the duration of my term. But otherwise,
Second.
yeah.
I'll first add Clark Kurtzerk as the vice chair.
Okay, we have a motion.
In agreement.
And a second. And
I'll abstain. Use myself.
Got it? Oh, we weren't voting yet. We were still discussing. But since you're on that, we're ready to go. Any further discussion? Commissioner Bechtel, how do you vote? And Commissioner Tidy?
Yes.
Commissioner Frazier? And myself, Commissioner Thompson, is a yes. So we have vice chair. Let's see.
We had 9B is John's new line.
No, I'm just thinking, don't we need a secretary or something along those lines, or not necessarily?
I think staff takes your minutes.
Staff takes minutes.
And thank you for that.
Yes.
Yeah, they were great.
I think though we need, as far, because I know it was suggested last time, Tidy, but as far as even chair, that we make that a formal thing, because I don't know if we did, or did we? We did?
You were
We
stuck
made-
with that again, my friend.
Oh, okay.
We made you
Okay.
formal, and
All right then.
we had done the
There it
Clark
is.
thing, but it never got put in minutes. So
Okay.
that's it.
Moving on to 10A,
Nope.
citizens.
Hold on, John, 9B.
My 9B?
You are 9B.
New
Woo,
business
thank you.
for
Okay,
TLT.
That is expanded role of parks, question mark.
Yeah, so good. It's just for discussion so we have a committee. So the Parks Committee, you can see your duties there, and they're very much advisory, and that you can retain some people to do consulting on parks. And then if you look at the next pages, it talks about our transient lodging tax committee, and then the decision-making on spending of transient lodging taxes. We had people apply to receive transit lodging tax grants last year, and we tried to form the committee to consider the applications and vote on them, and we had only one person show up to chair. And so the city council ended up having to consider the items because under some emergency basis and under their full power. But I said at that time, and then they're saying, we need to get more members for the committee. And I said, it's so hard to get people to volunteer and be on a committee. And the parks, you guys are in the TLT, right? It's kind of your fund. And so I said, why don't we just have the Parks Committee do the job of the TLT grant review and award committee. And before doing that, I wanted to talk to you all about it and see if it's something you're willing and interested in doing. It's pretty straightforward stuff. The last 3 grants, just kind of FYI, was to install some bike racks around the town, and then another one was for landscaping, and then another one was, and they submit their proposal, and it's I think it would be a worthwhile thing for you all, and then it would really help the city because okay, good. So I'm not going to say anything more. I'll entertain questions, and then I'm seeing a lot of heads nod. So I would bring it back to the city council for them to make a chip code change.
The council was in favor of having us talk about it, you know what I mean, and thinking about it. Every year, $15,000 of our TLT tax money gets sent out to local businesses, and if they apply for it, they have to put up half the money for what they're requesting for. It has to be here in town. So there's a whole little process. And it would behoove us to have a commission that meets regularly to try to take the reins, since we are funded by the TLT.
And that's a wonderful segue to my question, and perhaps this is for John. Could this be handled at our normal parks meeting, or is this something that would have to be enough? Yes.
Nope.
Okay, great.
Perfect. Yeah. So by consensus, can we agree to this?
Yeah, there was.
Right,
I just out of deference to y'all, I wasn't gonna have the city council do this and then spring it on you. So I wanted to have it come up from you.
Thank you for that, John.
Sure.
That's awesome. Right on. Well, that's great. Well, we'll look forward to it. 10A, citizens considerations. Anybody want to speak as a citizen on anything?
I'm going to stay here and speak as a citizen again about the Jubilee again with the Rotary and with everything the parks did and the city did and the Main Street and the Jubilee folks. It was just, again, the best Jubilee I've seen. So kudos to all, and pickleball, golf, everything, nuts. So great. That's all I have.
Awesome.
Hey, so guys, it's Jen Bailey.
Hi, Jen.
I guess you can hear me. You're looking at me.
We're looking
from the Jubilee.
We're looking at a JV.
Hey, sorry I'm not there in person. I can barely move after the last 4 days. It's been nuts. But I wanted to make sure that you guys know how much we appreciate the Parks Committee specifically. You guys have been awesome. We've used your facilities. I am personally really psyched that the visitor center is going to be open again. Although I have to say we used it heavily on the 4th. So we're going to have to make alternate plans. But I would much rather see it open to the public on the 4th. As well as the bathrooms, by the way. But anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know that it's been huge that you've been there for us. So
thank you. And as far as the visitor center is concerned for next year, I'm sure there could be collaboration there. I know the A-frame, like right now in Buffington, is allocated for the Sierra's project, but they made it available for all that we're doing things in Buffington. So I'm sure similar thing can happen with Visitor Center. So just to note that.
Thanks for what you did, Jen, and thanks Leah and
Terry.
Terry. Right, Terry. I was the third person. Yep, Leah and Terry.
Oh, that was awesome.
Did Melissa help too?
We had a whole bunch.
The whole Jubilee committee. I mean, considering that just a couple of years ago at a meeting, did not even know if it was going to continue, but thankfully there's people who are like, no, we need this as a community, and to see it roll out.
And also next year on the parks budget line item is the Jubilee. We already funded their next year's show out of our budget, so they're not even going to come to the TLT money next year. They're not going to ask for any of that. They don't need to because we funded that through the parks, right?
I don't know it's mutually exclusive. I mean, and by the way, I think we're dipping into some of this year.
No, but I'm saying there's $15,000 line item that is for the budget for either way.
Yep. Well, it's definitely a boon for our community.
Yeah.
The local businesses, I think, count on the traffic that Jubilee brings every year, and that is a wonderful service. Thank you, Jen.
Yeah, thank you, Jen.
Great job.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jen.
10B, which is commissioners' considerations. Commissioners?
I actually have two things.
Okay,
I would
Ciaran,
like
go
to,
for it.
Very quickly bring up two. One being the desk at the visitor center, 100% giant showcase desk thing needs to go. My only question is, will we have something available for our volunteers to sit at while they're there? Are we going to replace it with a smaller desk and seating area?
Tom, do you know what the discussion was on that? Thank you for hanging out and fielding these questions.
Good thought. First, before I say that, I want to say great meeting, you guys. Very, very good work, and really appreciate the momentum and getting things done. I will say that there was absolutely consensus, and John and Greg can check me on this, that the big monster desk needs to go.
Yep.
I'm not sure if we got to the point where we decided like what's going to replace it. I think seemed to me like there was consensus that we would replace it.
Okay. For the time being, there is a desk though in his area that's right that one little.
Yeah, there's a couple. I'll put it this way: there's 1, 2, I think there's 3 desks in that building.
Yeah.
Okay.
Smaller ones that could easily be moved out there. The one in that, the little desk in that small room right next to the main room,
Yeah.
I think would work out fine for now.
We don't need a
It's
desk
smaller,
per se
it's
up front, but we could.
I think it is important for.
No.
I just think it's important for volunteers, especially when they're in a space that, while it does have security system now and phone and internet and stuff like that, where they do feel safe, I think it's important that they still have a safe space.
Yep.
Wait, pause. Security system, is that?
No,
it never got installed. Never got installed. So we do have a security system there that we purchased. But it's not installed. So
I can't remember if we can find it.
Yeah. Well, I would love for you to find it then, Kelly. I know it was there. I would know exactly where we placed it.
No, you can't find it. Well, there's new technology now anyways, which, by the way, Costco has those ones that you don't have to pay the annual subscription on, and you can still see the stuff virtually, and you don't have to pay the monthly fee. So
I think that's only if you check in on it, it won't notify you, or you have to literally log on to it to see it.
So we might need something else anyways because of the advanced technology. But anyways,
I need to get going. Commissioner Bechtel had a point really quick to make.
Yep, go ahead.
All I wanted to say, you guys, is most of our volunteers are older. Yes,
Okay.
which is why I was thinking of this. A comfortable place where they can sit and rest and be there.
Yeah, comfy chair.
Big comfy chair, good desk, but not a battleship.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go. Sounds good. Thank you, Tom, for those.
Thanks, Tom.
Commissioners, that second item.
One more
Yep,
thing
back
that I
to
just wanted to
Commissioner
touch
Frazier.
on, because I did forget this is actually something we spoke about in the past. Which I don't want to do this now, but in our future meeting, if we could change our budget wish list a little bit and just, add or change. We really need to focus on redoing the Buffington sign.
The Buffington sign?
Yes, the main Buffington Park sign.
Agreed.
You know what? There was a guy here that was going to present on that. I think he's willing to take it on.
Okay.
I do.
guy?
The gentleman with the furniture shop.
Is that who it is?
I think he was here a couple meetings
We have
ago.
locals that
didn't
want to
have
help.
quorum.
And again, we don't have to, we can table it and put it on for.
No, he came and wanted to present. He had stuff to present. It was the guy down off of Ocean View, Tom. Do you know who the guy on the right
The
side?
furniture maker.
Furniture maker that's right across from his parents.
I can look it up.
It's as you drive up, it's just on the right. Anyway,
I know who that is.
So there is some momentum there. We just have to have him come, and I'll scrub through my emails.
I just remember like a year ago.
Yeah. No, that's very good. We do need that for sure. Okay.
Rick Cook. Does that sound like the guy?
I think that's him.
Yeah, Rick
I believe so.
Yeah.
So he was here to come into a meeting that we didn't have a quorum on. That's what it was. Okay. With that, we're on to item 12, which is future meetings. Thursday, August 3rd, regular meeting in chambers and online. at 6
What?
p.m.
6 p.m.
Yes,
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
Yeah,
And then, so a week prior is the goal to then have the packets and whatnot. So,
but I'm just grateful to get them in advance. Thank you.
Yes.
yeah.
So, my understanding is the process is we're sending them to the chair and to the council liaison for feedback before publishing them. And then if we don't hear from you, we're just going to shoot them out.
There we go. Let's do
There's
it.
a little delay waiting
That's perfect.
for response. Okay, good. Thanks.
Thank you.
Rock and roll. Okay, guys, with that,
Real quick, one thing on that. If for some reason you don't receive it a week before, check our website. If I forget to send it out via email, I do make sure to get it published online. So you can always check there to see if it's up.
So that's
Perfect.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So it is 7:40. Quick reminder, he's going to get our contact info, et cetera. 6:40, this meeting is adjourned. See you on August 3rd.
Mr. Huddle.